Okay. We have here the Ace of Cups. So someone could be literally singing your praise. Like, you might have recently started dating a person, right? And they find out, like, you go through your dating spiel and you have a conversation with them and you tell them all the things that you have done, all the places that you have lived, all your achievements. And it's not in a way where it's about bragging and things like that, because Virgos are very modest. You guys don't brag, okay? In some circumstances, when you really like a person and you want to impress them, I feel that you might, share a little bit more about yourself. But I don't feel like, bragging is a characteristic associated with Virgo. But I feel like through interacting with you, somebody is really finding you very impressive. I feel like, they might be standing right next to you and they feel almost like you're monumental, that you are larger than life, that you are beyond comprehension, that you are beyond belief, like too good to be true. Okay. And then for others of you, I feel like this could be in a career work environment where somebody is just really highlighting your skills, highlighting your assets, and really singing your praise. Okay, so I feel that there is this energy of I'm seeing almost like a crowd surfing. Like if you go to a concert and the artist jumps into the crowd and the crowd kind of lifts him up and surfs him around the room. So like crowd surfing, it's like being on top, being in your A game, having a lot of people admiring you and showing you around, displaying you and praising you and sharing, singing your hymns, singing your praises, in a room full of people. Okay. So I feel like the energy is very amazing. Okay. There's another thing that I saw. So, the land is prepped, right? So it's flat and people have been stomping it down to flatten the earth and to prepare it to lay a very solid foundation, right? And then the stonemasons come in and they haul, their blocks of stones and marble and alabaster, whatever it is, from far away. Okay. And just keep in mind, stones are heavy, right? So they've been doing this, and they have to haul all of the stone from a faraway source in order to build this monument, this cathedral. And so when I saw that too, I was thinking, like, for many of you, life have taken you really, really far away from your roots. Okay, so I feel like somebody who is a little bit of a transplant. Okay, possibly you were born in one area and then now you have migrated and lived in another area. Okay, I feel for many of you, life might have been a series of moves, a series of relocation, a series of like, I almost feel like feeling a little bit like out of your element, feeling like the oddball, feeling like you don't completely fit in. However, I feel that the universe has given you these experiences of, of migration, of exodus, of uh, transplant, in order for you to strengthen yourself, in order for you to learn. Because honestly, Virgos, let's just be honest, if you were plopped down in one place, right, and the universe didn't give you opportunities to move, most of you are pretty comfortable where you are and you will not move. Okay, you might have, grown up with the same group of friends, gone to the same school, gone to the same high school, had the same high school sweetheart, settled down, married the high school sweetheart, and life might have just been like stable but very stagnant. Okay, not that there's anything wrong with that. I just feel like, given your own preference, I feel like you might not really reach for the stars. You might not really, go big. You might not take these opportunities. And so I feel like for many of you, life was, in your earlier childhood and in your young adulthood, life was a series of rapid successions of moves, okay, having to be hauled in from someplace else, having to migrate, having to relocate. Some of you might have been like refugees. going from one country to the next, feeling a little bit like on the outskirts, like looking in, not feeling where you fit in, not feeling rooted and complete and grounded. Okay. But these opportunities had to happen so that you can be given a different perspective, so that you have, so that you can learn a lot more. Okay. And so there isn't an accident, you know, things don't happen in, things were designed. I feel like things were preordained in a way. And, you know, there is such a thing as human free will, but I feel like there are certain life experiences that the universe might have wanted the Virgo people to have lived through. And I feel like for other signs, the whole, you know, disruptive childhood, I feel like it might have been fun for other signs, but I feel like for you, it was disruptive. Okay, but you're looking back at your life now and you're just like, oh, now I finally understand why that happened. I finally understand, you know, why at that young age I had to do this. I finally understand that these experiences were good for me. So I see a lot of you coming to terms with the fact that you are an amalgamation of your past experiences, and they strengthen you. They gave you a colorful flair to your life. And these experiences were very indispensable in contributing and shaping and, you know, polishing and shaping the person that you are today. Okay. And so I feel like something major in your life is coming to a state of completion. Okay. It's polished. It has the bell on it, the icing on the cake. It's ready to be displayed to the rest of the world. Okay. It's inauguration day when the bells chime and the people come in to marvel at this amazing cathedral that was, you know, resurrected from the ground up. Okay. With beautiful stained glass window, with all the colors, with all the experiences, with the multitude of hands and shapers and all the people that contributed to the formation of this. Okay. And so you have a lot to be proud of. You have achieved a lot. You have overcome a lot. You have learned a lot. And I feel like you're finally in a state where it's complete. Okay. It's complete. Some of you, I feel like, if you didn't have that sense of community, if you feel like you were uprooted, if you feel like a transplant and you felt like you didn't fit in, now you have a very solid foundation. Your foundation is now laid, and it's laid in brick and mortar and stone. And so it is very stable. And so it's a sense of, coming into our own. Okay. And it's also a sense of like feeling very complete. Okay. So, a major transition in your life is coming into the picture here. We have the Death card, and the Death card is about change, and we have as well the Three of Wands. So what I feel here is this is a major change when it comes to your status. Okay, so the Three of Wands is a situation where we've been waiting for our ships to come in. We've been waiting for news, messages, communication. And I'm drawn to this green here on his girdle or his vest. And then this green bird, the birds are messengers. They signify messages, welcoming good news, and, you know, something that we have really long awaited for is finally here. So I feel like this is a change in status, change in communication and things like that. And so I feel that many of you are welcoming, beckoning and welcoming in the news, the new life, okay? A new lifestyle, a new location, a new life. A new course that you are charting for yourself, or even embarking on a new phase in your life, a new journey, a new beginning of something major. All right. The other image that I saw, it's also very beautiful. I saw a peacock, and it's a white peacock, but the tail feathers are like shades of green and blue. Okay, so it's really strange. So it's a white peacock with really heavy, like a whole train of tail feathers that are just like spread out. It's not erect, but it's like drooped down, and the peacock is on a fence. Okay, And the peacock is looking at the sky, looking at the ravens in the sky and the sparrows flying really fast. And the peacock is looking at it. It's like, I want to fly. And then he looks back at his tail and he's all like, but this beautiful tail is really, weighing me down. And then he looks back at the sky at the sparrows. And he's just like, I wish I could be like a sparrow with really streamlined wings, and I can fly really fast. I can dart in the sky. I can, move back and forth. And so every day he goes to that fence, right? He's on the fence. His tail is drooped down. So he practices flying. Like, he keeps practicing, but then he's so heavy, the tail is so heavy that he drops back into the ground. So every day he does that. Every day he does that. And then it fast forward. And then one day his, I guess like after many, many, many months, or after many, many years, his wings are like, I feel like, strong enough where he can actually fly. Okay. So I don't know the anatomy of the peacock, but it just didn't seem to me like that's something possible for him to do. But he's using the tail feathers to kind of like push himself off into the air, and he starts to fly. Okay. And so I feel like this is an image that indicates to me many of you are shedding burdens, shedding something that, might have been on the one hand very beautiful, but is no longer functional in your life. Okay. Is no longer functional with your lifestyle, or is no longer applicable to you, is no longer desirable. And what I feel for many of you is this. Okay, we have here the Six of Swords, and the Six of Swords is moving away from something, moving from one location to the next, travel, movement, but also leaving a troublesome situation in the past because we are aiming to have a smoother future. We're aiming for more harmony, for more safe passage, for more, I guess, like calmness in our lives. Okay, leaving the drama behind, not getting involved in the bickering, in the small petty arguments, in the I want to say like, jealousy, pecking. I'm hearing like pecking, people who it's almost like they dwell on all the positive, the negative things rather than on the positive. And it's like, I feel like this might be something coming from you internally as well, where, Virgos, you're seen as, the sign of the perfectionist, right? And so perfectionism can be a double-edged sword, right? You aim for perfection. And then if there's like that one little detail that's not exactly right, it can also really bring you down. Okay. You want things to be perfect down to the minute details. And so I feel like there's this process here of purging away this way of thinking or way of doing that has really not served its purpose in your life. Okay. Where a whole really positive experience can be ruined by just like one tiny detail. Okay. So you're starting to look at the bigger picture. You're starting to look at, in the greater scheme of things, does this little, smear mark on a brand new car, does it really matter? In the greater scheme of things, on this beautiful like canvas with, a seaside ocean scene, is like one little grain of sand that's, done in the wrong color. Does it really matter? Does it really diminish the quality of the artwork as a whole? I feel like you're starting to see the big picture, and I feel that you are also starting to like no longer dwell on the little details, no longer dwell on things that don't matter, no longer engaging with people who are conflict ridden and like negative, and no longer allowing the negative thoughts. Oh, I'm not good enough. They're never going to pick me, or that person will never want to date me, or I'm not qualified for this. You're no longer questioning these things because you are coming into the sense of, you have been molded and shaped and polished in a meticulous way by people who are kind of like the masters at their craft, the stonemason, the brick mason, the builders, the architects. And on top of it all, divine source, okay? The icing on the cake, the bell on the steeple. And so you're starting to realize, it is a work of perfection. Okay. I don't need to dwell on it, and I don't need to question it. And so there's this lightness coming over you where you are no longer brought down with negativity, no longer questioning your own capabilities or questioning yourself, and no longer letting other people's bickering and pettiness and things like that affect you. Okay. So I see this protective bubble around you. We do have a character that is coming in for this month, okay?